It's currently 10:08 p.m. and I'm currently doing more work on the Hispanic floral embroidery pattern. Since yesterday, I pretty much had the back done. I focused on first the sides and then the front, and then by extension the sides some more. Sides and the front and the sides of the patterning for the jacket. Some days ago, I deliberately started from the back rather than the front, because only the back had a full side from which I would have room to at first try to copy the reference image I used as an example of a Hispanic floral embroidery pattern. If I recall, this is Peruvian style chicken. It's part of the groceries Dad and I picked out during a trip to Wegmans. Though during that trip, before we went to Wegmans, we went to Home Depot. We went out roughly from I would say 6:30 at the latest to roughly 7:45 p.m. Dad went to Home Depot for a replacement knob for a replacement handle for the knob that turns the shower on. The one in the first floor bathroom. And also some tool that reminded me, some pulled tool That upon seeing it, the first thing that came to mind was shovel. Though it's not. The part that's the shovel end is kind of shaped like this, like a horizontal line. Maybe I thought a shovel thinking of snow shovels, but it's a tool that's supposed to be for reaching hard to reach areas. And it's supposed to be cleaning areas like our garage and whatnot. Meanwhile, we went to Wegmans after Home Depot first to return some bottles. Me and Dad did that together. It took us maybe about a minute or so to return the container deposits we had into the machines. And the deposits were put towards the total for the groceries, presumably. And then we got some groceries for the next few days. A can of French style green beans that ended up getting chosen over the can of cut green beans, because the French style green beans were at the bottom shelves, where we found some canned vegetables such as canned corn, though we already had corn at home. So I opted to get green beans instead, and I heard from somewhere that items on the top and bottom shelves are cheaper than stuff in the middle from somewhere. The cans of cut green beans and the cans of French style green beans ended up being the same price, but ultimately I felt that it didn't matter whether we got cut green beans or French style green beans. All that really mattered was that we got green beans. Which from what I've heard is a healthier vegetable than corn. Still, corn is good too. It's important to make sure to use up the corn we have. We also got a new gallon of whole milk. And I picked out, when Dad went for some bread, I picked out this loaf of organic sourdough bread. And I believe partially that organic sourdough was picked out because there weren't many other options at the time. And when we stopped at the section dedicated to a more dedicated section for bread, I didn't pick the loaf of Italian bread over that organic sourdough bread loaf, which we got from a small corner dedicated to bread that, if I recall, was near the bakery of that Wegmans. This drumstick comes from a variety pack box that we got from I believe it's the frozen novelty section. And when we got back from Wegmans, around 8 p.m., Dad gave me a whatchamacallit candy bar that he had left over in that cooler that he brings with him to work each day. Around 1 p.m., I had a peanut butter and jelly bagel sandwich with, I recall, my first or second cup of coffee from, I guess, technically an afternoon pot. I got up today around 11:30 in the morning, noon. And I had the usual 2 to 3 cups roughly from noon at the earliest, starting at noon at the earliest, 1 p.m. at the latest, and ending around 3:30 p.m. And it was at 3:30 p.m. that I had 2 leftover square slices from that pizza Dad got at Salvatore's last night. Leftover pieces from that bacon, pepperoni, and black olive pizza. And also today marks the first time I used one of those portal things in order to teleport in Raid Heroes Total War. I did that sometime, I guess, in the early night after Dan and I got back from Wegmans. It was in order to get past some locations that I've beaten before on the current event that involves all the mage heroes, all those characters that I have. Though otherwise it requires considerable luck. If I don't use... Had I not used that portal, that one portal to get past stage number 45, since the only mage character I've really leveled up is the Blue Witcher, since he has that lightning attack that if heroes are in close proximity, can actually hit more than one enemy unit at once, though they really have to be in close proximity. And yeah, some stages, especially getting into the 30s to 40s, do often end with a majority of the enemy squad being left to take on the Blue Witcher alone, and unless I'm real lucky, that ends in defeat.